Look to the sky, out to the stars. Believe what you find, no matter where you are. You can go on and make this world a better one. Days come and gone, feeling undone, shattered and torn. How will we belong again? We stand in line and we amend for a better time.
It's Mark, and we have another live show starting now, I guess. It's actually a minute past. I probably am a little bit late. But yeah, so tonight's show, we're going to be checking out our monthly challenge entries, which I guess we've got a few. And but first, I want to discuss our website a little bit. I recently have been working behind the scenes on the site. I'm actually making a puppet for the logo design. And I'm going to be sculpting some stuff for these buttons down here as well. Just some minor things there. But also behind the scenes, I made the site about 80% faster. It's really sped up quite a bit. But I've discovered, thanks to some people that have talked to me, that a lot of the parts of the site aren't properly working. So I'm not really sure how to fix it just yet. But for example, we have this the status on the front of the page. And you'll notice that I'll hit refresh, and sometimes what will happen is this won't load for some reason. So like right now, you can see it's thinking up here, and then the status doesn't load. So if you want to post like a picture, or if you want to post just your thoughts or whatever, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it kind of hangs. It's just kind of like stuck. So I'll press stop here and then refresh, and then sometimes it'll just load back up. It just kind of depends on what it wants to do. It's kind of a hit or miss thing. So parts of the site like that just don't want to work. Like I say, I don't understand completely why, but I know it's JavaScript related, because all of these elements are JavaScript. So another problem I'm having is, for example, if I click on my name here, so if you click on your profile, now I'm an admin, so I should be seeing certain things here. Like first off, the number of photos is incorrect. I don't have 59, I just uploaded some and deleted some. And you'll notice that there's these buttons, and it says like edit, upload, delete, feature this. The same problem happens with these for me, where I cannot sometimes click these. Sometimes like if I click enough times, and oddly enough I deleted this photo, but it's still there. So there's things that are just, I'm not really sure. Let's see if I can maybe delete this. Let's see if it'll work. Let's see, delete event. So that's working. Click done. So maybe that'll be gone on my page. Let's go back to photos. Alright, so that got rid of it. That's good to know. But like this here, see, I'm clicking it now and it won't load. So my pictures don't want to show up. And see, I'm clicking this here and that's not giving me a drop down. So it seems like the JavaScript isn't loading. I'm not really sure why. The solution is probably because I have something running in the background on the site as a plugin or something, and it's conflicting with Jom Social, but I'm not positive. The only way I'm going to find out is to go to the Jom Social website, and about 10 days ago my subscription ran out, but you can go on their forums, and if you want to get the answer to the problem, you actually had to pay for extending the license. So I had to probably pay, like, I don't know, maybe between $85 and $120 to get the answer to the same problem that Patrick Chu here has. He says the main page JavaScript is not working in iPhone, but working in iPad and desktop version. For example, when I try to click on the photo module to video module in iPhone, after logging in, when I try to add a friend, the JavaScript button is not working. So that's what's actually happening on our site. And so like I say, I'm probably going to have to pay to learn how to fix it, or have some people check it out that work at Jom Social. And they're actually pretty good. Their tech support is really good. Like when you pay, when I've tried to have problems resolved in the past, I've gone on their forums and they've logged into my site and they fixed one thing. It didn't upgrade the last time, so they fixed that for me. So I'm pretty sure I can get this fixed. I'm pretty sure, but like I say, it's going to cost me a lot of money. And so it might take a while for me to actually... I could probably pay him pretty soon. We'll have to see. Depends on my orders, how many orders I get. All right, so I just want to let you guys all know that, because I have had Randy help me, or tried to help me today with that, and Molly also sent me a message, and some of the things that I know that that I've done that may help in the future. Anyways, I've increased the size of the picture you can upload to I think 10 megabytes, so you can upload a gigantic picture if you wanted to, and also change the timeout. There's like this timeout function in PHP that if you try to upload something and it takes too long, then it will stop your upload. So I increased that to, I think, 8 or 10 minutes, so it should not time out, but still the JavaScript problem is there. So anyway, hopefully I can get that fixed soon. All right, so anyway, today is where we judge our monthly challenge entries, and we've had a few. Just to recap what we've discussed about 5 weeks ago is, I guess Ken was the winner, and he chose the topic cut. So essentially the way it works, and I'm sure most of you people know this already, but we every 5 weeks what we do is we have these challenges, and the previous winner will choose the next topic. That's pretty much been that way for a very long time now, I think for at least a few years. So like for example, tonight we have Claymara, we have Thomas, and we have Gabriel, who all entered some short films based on the topic of cut. So whoever wins tonight will choose the next topic. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch all these. I'm going to watch each video once, or we're all going to watch it once together. And then I'm going to go back to Claymara again, and we're going to watch it a second time. And the second time that we go around, we're going to, everybody who's here, I'm not really sure how many we have tonight. Let me check. Looks like we have 10 people tonight so far, and I'm sure there's going to be some people that come in late, but so each one of you needs to vote for your favorite entry, and I'm going to keep a tally on a piece of paper. So I'll get that now. Let's see, where is it? Got a little sticky pad I can use, and a pen, and I'll just tally whatever you guys say that you like most, and then whoever gets the most tallies wins. And they also get to win a prize. So let me see here. Go to our store. So here's our online store, and if you want to choose, you can choose from our tutorial video downloads. Any of the video tutorials, you can download them. Some of them are like $30, $15, $28, $19, and our less expensive ones are $7 each. Also, we have how to make like wire armatures for your puppets and replacement mouths. You can get one of those for free. The only thing that you can't get for free is the foam latex 101, because that's not, I didn't actually make that. It's not owned by me. Kathy Zung created that. So there's that option, and there's also the option to get one of our ebooks. So you can get Secrets Revealed, and that would be completely free. So, all right. So you guys probably know all that anyway, but I just wanted to recap for those who might be new. So we're going to start with our first film. And now Claymara submitted this about a week and 5 days ago, so she's pretty fast at these. And she says, the dog girl named May finds a weird goldfish popping up, sending a magical arrow to chase away the fish. A small dinosaur gets hurt instead. So this is going to be... I'm going to load it up on YouTube, actually. And make it big. If it'll go big. Here we go. Make sure the volume's up. So let's watch.
Claymara.
Right, so I had to briefly step aside to throw my cat out of the room, so I didn't actually see that, but we're going to watch it a second time. So if you guys stop in, if you're late to the show, we can rewatch these. Now, the next one is Thomas's, and he had asked me if it was okay for him to use a Lego figure for his animation. And I said yes. I said it was okay because he did put it together himself, and you know, it's sort of made by hand, and it is a stop motion puppet in a sense. So I did allow for that, and I think you guys will agree that, you know, it's pretty much a handmade puppet in a sense. So let's watch. This one's 15 seconds long. It's pretty neat. So there's some nice nice follow through and some anticipation in there and everything. Some nice animation. And so here's what Gabriel says. Now he's the next one, and oh, I should probably say Thomas said that he had been dying to animate this guy for months. Finally had a free weekend and a good excuse. So okay, I forgot to mention that before. And then Gabriel says here, sometimes fingers are the sharpest blades. Hi, G. Montalvo here. I am looking forward to participate in more monthly challenges. This is my entry for June 2016. The theme inspired me to do a cutout animation. I guess that's like a slight pun. Of an old ink drawing that I made while back in 3D animation college. The fire was made out of a footage of a wood oven that I have in the backyard and distorted in After Effects. I think I got the sound levels right, but if you're using headphones, maybe turn them down a little bit. I worked my best to reduce flicker, but you can still see it. Deflicker plugins are too expensive right now. Oh well, I hope you like it. Yeah, flicker is a big problem. Actually, I think we were talking to Webster Colcord the other day, and he and Justin Cohn were working on one of their projects, and Justin had some flicker occurring, and sometimes it's hard to track those things down. Now this one is 20 seconds long, and it's called Fingers Like Knives. So let's watch. I didn't actually think the flicker was so bad there, but I guess that, you know, when you have a machine gun shooting, it's kind of like oops, where are we here? Oh, here it is. Okay. You know, when you have something that's kind of flickering anyway, it doesn't really, it's not as noticeable. Oh, that's okay, Gabriel. That's all right. I don't mind reading it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right, so now we're going to rewatch these. And let me see here. How many people do we have now? Hopefully everybody has already seen. We have 12. All right, so 2 more people came in, but hopefully that's okay. So we're going to rewatch these. Let me just do something on the side real quick. Okay. Try and get my screen back to normal on the other side here, so that I can see what you guys are talking about. Okay, so this one again is from Claymore, and it's With May Cut is what it's titled. So let's watch.
Claymore.
So if any of you guys want to vote for Claymara, just say so, and I will keep a tally. And again, we're going to watch this one also. This is from Thomas, and this one is going to be called Cutting with Grievous. I guess General Grievous from Star Wars. And here we go. Some nice animation there. And then this one, the final one, is from Gabriel, and this is called Fingers Like Knives. Let's watch. Right, so we're gonna need to vote, and I guess these are short enough where we can probably watch them one more time. So we've got 15 people now watching live, and again, just to recap again for you guys that just came in, we're gonna rewatch these videos, and they're for our monthly challenge, and we're gonna watch Claymara's once again. And so after rewatch these, just type in the chat that you like Claymara or any of the others, and I'll keep tally. So here we go.
Claymara.
Awesome. Claymara, yeah, it's been a while since Claymara's been around. As Jason says, he says, I missed Claymara. And Ron Call said he didn't notice any flicker. And yeah, all right. So who do you guys want to vote for? All right, so we've got Claymara. We've got, where's my mouse cursor? We've got Thomas, who had the General Grievous animation. All right. So what do you guys think? General Grievous, Claymara? Claymara, who's got these awesome characters. Which I remember her sculpting these a while back, these characters. They're sort of like 2D on glass, or 2.5D on glass cutouts. So Claymara's May with cut. With May cut, sorry. Maybe I'm partially dyslexic today. Or Fingers Like Knives from Gabriel. Let's watch again. Alright, so we got, let's see. So Henry says, all great entries though. Yeah. This one's really great. I like this one. So Gabriel, that's like a unique stop motion, sort of two-dimensional and pixelation all kind of wrapped up in one there. So that's Gabriel. So looks like Henry's for Thomas. And Janet, you're gonna have to decide which one you want, Thomas or Gabriel. And Jason says Thomas. Ron says General Grievous. So that's 2. And then Hoserlu says, I like them all, but I'll go with General Grievous. Thomas, okay. And Henry says we have 4 for Thomas so far, and Mary Ellen says Gabriel gets my vote. Okay, for the gun. So let me make sure that's is that 3 or 4 for Thomas? Because Janet says Thomas or Gabriel, so she's gonna have to choose one of those. And let's see. So definitely Thomas. Okay, and then Gabriel. And Randy says, I really like fingers, but the quality of Thomas's puppet animation has won my vote. All right, so we got 4 for Thomas, and then Ron says, excellent illustration on the gun. And CB says, Clay Mara. Awesome. And Henry says, Gabriel has the best lighting. Greatest lighting also, yeah. I think General Grievous is also pretty good. You know, it's kind of hard to get that background to be like that. Sort of all white like that without shadows. And Clay Mara. So now, let's see. So Gabriel says, thanks, I photocopied the original. And Janet says, Thomas, okay. And Gabriel says, I had to redraw the tip because it didn't fit. Ah, okay. Let's see here. Oh, okay, so the tip was redrawn. It looks good though, I can't tell. And alright, so I guess let's see, we got 12 people here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 votes. Does anybody else want to vote? I'll give you guys maybe 20 more seconds. I'll play the crazy music again. So when the music is over, then the challenge is done. So here we go. What will it be? Anybody else? Maybe not. Going once, going twice. All right, well, and that's it. So Thomas is tonight's winner. All right, congratulations, Thomas, for your General Grievous animation. Really awesome. So I guess let's see. Oh. All right, let's watch it one more time, everybody. In full screen, okay. Animation was really great. I really like the way that he kind of looks at his hands when they're chopped off, and even though he doesn't have any sort of expandable chest, you know, it kind of looks like he's sighing there at the end. And I think also the fact that like I can't see any sort of tie downs or anything like that. So a lot of work went into post-production, I think, on this as well. So a lot of effort all around. Nice sound effects, nice lightsabers, and I guess he didn't say how he did that exactly, but turned out great. All right, so thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Clay Mara, and Gabriel as well for your awesome short animations. And so I'll probably send Thomas a message on the site later on, and just kind of telling him he won, and to choose the next topic. So when he does that, we can start the next challenge. Okay, so what else? What else is there to talk about now? I talked about the site, and we talked about our entries, the entries that we see here. So is there a motion blur on that? Ron is asking. I don't know. Not really too sure. I didn't notice any. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, the sound really helps a lot, and I think if people, uh, you know, like I know that when I tried to buy some sound effects from a, let's see if there's any motion blur here. I don't think there is, Ron. It's just some freeze frames of it. There might be some blurring in the lightsabers, but that's it. Like right here, it's stretched. Sound effects are expensive. Like if you actually go to a company like Sound Ideas is a company that they'll sell you music and give you a license to use it royalty free or with conditions. And you can buy like an actual hard drive now. You can get hard drives with tons and tons of sound effects on there that are really like the best quality you can get. And they just charge a lot for that. So. Oh, okay. That's good to know, Gabriel. And thanks for entering in the challenges. I mean, if you want to keep doing them, that would be awesome. I mean, it's really nice to see people's animation, and I know a lot of people don't have the patience for stop motion, so it just amazes me that we actually get any entries at all. Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's something that I did not really. Let me see here. Yeah, Janet's talking about this software that can like track your motions and whatnot, and I did not have time to look at all those, so I don't know if I can really talk about them in an entertaining way and hold a good conversation on that program. Although it's really neat. Now Ron says I'd like to add motion blur to that if I can, if I have a link to it. Yeah, it's called Cutting with Grievous, and the channel is just called Thomas Nicol, ThomasNicol. So you can go there and you can probably find it for download if you wanted to. You might want to ask him if you can, add motion blur and maybe send him a message on YouTube and send it to him. I'm sure he'd actually like it. He's got some other stuff on here too. It looks like he's got 5 months ago's Sybil versus Spider Monster. Let's see what this is real quick. Sounds kind of cool. But that looks really excellent. Let's watch it again. This is really good. So he's got what looks like possibly a digital camera move where he's moving it left and right and doing some zooms, and panning and zooming. And yeah, that's some great animation. It's an excellent animator. And that's like a clay spider with some wire parts in there, and it's got some fabric on his clothes. It's got some, not sure what kind of armature is in there, but it looks like it must be really, really, it works really well. Let's see if there's any clues. It might be wire, I'm guessing, but I can't tell. That's excellent. Here's another one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's a little bit slow. Let's go back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
That's some great animation. Oh, great. So you guys can actually post YouTube links now on the chat? That's good to know. Oh, okay, I see. So Henry was able to get it on there by putting a space in between the .com parts. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's got some really amazing. Oh, I think there's some motion blur in this one. Yeah, there is. So Ron, I think that he has the ability to do that. It looks like he's using the animation supplies tabletop, or the what do you call it? What do we call those now? The stages. So it's essentially steel with lots and lots of holes. So he can tie his puppets down. Very nice. So let me see if I can like pause it on here and see that motion blur. Yeah, so you can see here what it looks like. So Henry's asking, what is a good way to add motion blur to stop motion? Well, there's a few ways, but the Real Smart Motion Blur plugin for After Effects is probably the most common. And I think you can use that with Sony Vegas as well. Certain versions of it. It's called Revision Effects Motion Blur, and it's a plugin. So it's not like an actual program that you can download and then just like import your frames of animation into, and then create a like an AVI or a .mov file. You had to insert it into a program that already exists. So why they do that, I don't know. I don't know why plugins can't be standalone products, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, so Natron, Natron is what I think Ron Cole is using for editing, and he says Natron is a free compositor program, right? So you can do green screens and all that kind of stuff. And I can bring that up for you guys. Let me see. So let me go over here. So Natron. So I'm not really sure if Natron is something that let's see. So it works for Mac OS X, Windows, and Linux. So it's free and open source compositing software. So it's a free open source cross-platform compositing software. And it's 32-bit currently, so it's probably a little bit slow, but it is free. Maybe they'll have a 64-bit in the future. So you can use EXR, DPX, TIFF, PSD, so Photoshop documents, RAW, JPEG, PNG, and more. So it actually, I mean, if you have Photoshop and you want to, one of the things that's great about using Photoshop and compositing programs is that you can have Photoshop opened and edit a document that you've imported into another program like this one, or Sony Vegas, or After Effects. And while you edit it in that program, you can save it, and it will probably, I'm guessing, in this program, just update immediately without having to like delete your files from the program and then upload them. So let's see, and it has support for many free and open source OpenFX plugins. OpenFX.io to read anything else than standard 8-bits images, bundled with pre-compiled versions of Natron. OpenFX Miscellaneous, a set of basic nodes such as transform, chroma keyer, etc., bundled with the pre-compiled versions of Natron. So, I mean, most of this stuff is already part of it, I guess. So it says here support for commercial OpenFX plugins, so Revision Effects products. So I imagine any of their products would work with it, not just Motion Blur, but that's good to know. Neat Video, Furnace by the Foundry, Keylight, which is really, I always hear about Keylight. Genart Sapphire, not sure what that one is. Let's see what that is. So Randy says they had those steel floors at Vinton. Oh yeah. I guess oh, this is cool. Sapphire. I guess you can do all kinds of cool stuff on here. That looks awesome. Yeah, those stages they had at Vinton's were really awesome. That kind of steel that they used was really robust. And Randy says the floors were handy, but they also fluxed a lot from the heat of the lights, causing issues. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, because the steel was pretty hefty when I used it. I remember when I did the test of Thorogood stubs, and I used the magnets under there. I thought, wow, this is some really strong stuff, and they would put like paper over the top for making it look like an actual wooden floor. But I guess, I mean, I don't know why I'm talking about that. You already know that. But so Gabriel says, oh my god, I had that table. Why I haven't done anything? This ninja is amazing. And Henry says, I've seen Real Smart, but I'm looking for a free alternative. I don't have money to spare at the moment. Well, you could try to blur your frames using GIMP. GIMP is a free editing program for still images. So there's GIMP, and there's also Krita, which is what I've been using lately. And also there is a link on our site. Let's go there now. I'll show you real quick. So there we go. Go up to links here. And you want to click on editing programs. So you want to go to, I guess that's like the 5th one down. And they've got I've got links to Adobe Premiere, and I believe you can't download this now for free, but it used to be, some of the older versions were for free. But I believe down here, okay, you'll notice that it says Adobe Photoshop CS2 free, and most people will say no, it's not for free, but it is, and I use it all the time. I use the free version because I bought Photoshop a long time ago, and when I updated my computer, it no longer worked very well, so I tried this one and it did. And then I got Windows 10 and it pretty much doesn't work very much at all now, but you can download it from here, from TechSpot. And if you scroll down, you'll see the Windows and Mac serial number. And as far as I know, this is not like an illegal thing or anything like that. So it's just that they're not updating it anymore, and it's not very functional. A lot of the times when I use it, my screen will sort of blink in and out, like all the screens that are like my actual image window will sort of blink out, but I'll just click off to the side and it comes back. So I mean, it does work, and it's really powerful, and most of my graphics are done in it, but Krita is probably my favorite. But once you're using this, what you can do, and I'll show you really quickly, maybe I'll open up Photoshop for you and create a document, or maybe I'll open up like an image of a puppet on here, and I'll show you how you can blur things a little bit. So here's Photoshop CS2, and this is exactly the same program that I've just showed you where to download, so you can download this exact program. And let me just get a picture. Gonna open this up, and let me resize this a little bit, if it will let me. Let's see. So for example, here's our puppet, and let's say we wanted to blur his arm or anything like that. So we will take one of our tools, which is this. It's like a lasso, but it's what you do is you click on something like this. You can kind of make a box or a triangle. And then you go to filter, and you go to blur, and you go to motion blur. And what will come up is this. So we're going to add motion blur in whatever angle we want. So I'm thinking this is probably a good angle. And we can change the distance and add as much or a little blur as we want. All right. Now this is not a very good example because, you know, I didn't add a lot of blur and we've blurred the background and whatnot. There's other ways to get around that. We could sort of duplicate this layer and then erase what we don't want here. We can erase parts of this. So maybe I can show you that now. Let me go back in my history and let's just go to here. Okay, how do we do this? So in our layers, we can just go background and then duplicate layer. Oops. Okay. So we have two layers, one on top of each other, and they're the same. All right. So I'm going to put this back to the side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take our little polygon lasso tool, and I'm going to blur this arm a bit. And we're assuming that this arm is moving either up or down, and that's the direction we're going to blur it in. So blur, filter, blur, motion blur. And we make sure the angle is good because we can change it to be like up or down depending on the motion, but we're going to make it in this direction. And I'm going to check. I always like to just like click on this little rectangular marquee tool and then just click off to the side, and that deselects this. Then you can take your eraser brush, and this is obviously way too big, but I can make the size smaller here. Let's make it, I don't know, 50 or so. And this top layer that we have is what we're editing, okay? So if I erase anything in this top layer, the bottom will be revealed, and you can see the bottom when we unsee the upper one, you know, the little eyeball here, you can see what's below it. So I'm gonna make sure you can see both, and I'm gonna erase what I don't like. So if I don't like this, you know, if I don't like the blur of the bottle, just his arm is what I want blurred, I can erase it like that. And so that's one way to blur single frames of your animation. But you got to open each frame. You know, it's not automatic, and it's not going to be as nice as well. Okay, so anyway, hopefully that gives you some ideas of how you can blur your own stuff. Okay, so I'm going to close this and read your comments because I'm not really paying attention to you guys as I'm doing that. Oh, okay, so Janet calls GIMP Jimp. That's interesting. All right, so scrolling back, I'm going to see your all your posts. So Ron says, I honestly don't know of any free motion blur add-ons. The only other way I've added blurs is frame by frame in Photoshop, but other free photo editors will do as well. But that's a lot of work. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more work that way, unfortunately. And so Henry says, and the thing I hate now is the fact that everything has to pay monthly. I would get Photoshop or After Effects if it was a one-time purchase. So yeah, that if you know, like I say, go to our site, go to the links and the editing programs, and you'll find Photoshop CS2 for free. And Gabriel says you can try Adobe software for 7 days. And Henry says Michael Parks did a great video on frame by frame blurring, and I haven't had the chance to try it out. And Jason says, I kind of agree, Henry, but on the other hand, I've got a lot of obsolete software collecting dust. And Ron says, I had that version of Photoshop as well because it has one tool Photoshop Elements doesn't. Okay, so let's see what Henry's trying to post. He posted a link. I'm gonna, let's see. Where are we here? Trying to find links. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna try to load that for you. Ah, okay. So this is the Michael Parks video, yeah, on how to make motion
very
blur.
quickly and would otherwise look chattery without the effect. For example, here it is without motion blur, and here it is with.
So I don't know
we're
how
gonna
much of
look
this I
at
want to
two different
watch, only
kinds
because
of
YouTube's been
motion
so
blur
crazy
effects.
with
One is where the
getting
effect
me
is
for
applied
copyright
to the
infringement
entire
lately.
object
But
of
if
the
you guys
shot,
do
and
want to
another
watch
where the
this,
effect is applied
yeah,
only
Michael
to part
Parks
of
has
an
got
object.
some amazing videos, and you can see here it's called Stop Motion Tutorial, a Motion Blur Trick, and it's from Michael, Michael Parks, Parks, and he's a really nice guy, it seems too. But let's see, he's got lots of videos, and you can see also he's got some mouth lip sync tutorials, and let's see, oop. I think my internet's kind of running a little bit slow for me here. But yeah, there's walk tutorials and some 2D stuff, and also facial animation. So yeah, it's a really great channel. So let's see here. Now, Ron says you can tweak the way the motion blur does its thing by clicking on radial blur, set it to spin, and you can set the center point where the center of the blur will be. Yeah, that would probably be a little bit better, wouldn't it? It's a little bit more advanced, but... And Thomas says, hey all, had to do some Muppeteering earlier and can't stick around long, but just popping in quickly. So cool. Thanks for stopping in. So Thomas, you did win the challenge, and I'm going to send you a message later on, and you get a free prize as well. So watch out for that if you're still here. And so Henry says, that's great. I've used this method before, but with GIMP, but I don't know or didn't know that there could have been a motion blur tool. I used the blur pen tool, which was a pain. Oh, okay. So you're actually, I think that's not blurring, that's called smudging. I think that's called the smudge tool. Yeah, it won't be as nice. Definitely not as nice. And Ron Cole says, even with real smart motion blur, you still need to do a bit of Photoshop work if you need it to be perfect. Gabriel says, Michael Parks are really useful. Yeah, his tutorials are really good, and you know his puppets are, you know, not bad. They're a little bit rough around the edges, but you know that's kind of what clay is, right? And but the information he has is really top notch. And so Ron Cole says, even with let's see, oh okay, I read it already. And so Ron then says, it looks like he did frame blending, which isn't really a blur, but it produces a similar effect. I did that on my film In the Fall of Gravity. Yeah, I think it's just like it duplicates and ghosts the image. Not exactly the same as motion blur. But I know that even Ray Harryhausen did that, but he used film with double exposures. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting that now people do it digitally, whereas before it was done on film, but it's like the same exact effect. Yeah, congratulations, Thomas. I think it's if you want to watch the show later on, you can watch the rerun and the recording of it, and you can see how everybody voted and what they said, and it was nice to watch. It's a really awesome animation, and the sounds and everything it's really good. Everybody's was really good, so check it out if you can. All right, so what else, guys? So what else can we say about motion blur? There's other ways to do motion blur. I don't know if, or I don't think that Michael Parks really talked about this, and I haven't really done any tutorials on it either, but you can actually make blur strokes or streaks with replacement parts. So for example, arms or objects that move really fast, you can literally replace a part using maybe let me close this. Maybe I can show, let me see. So it seems like my internet just quit there for a moment. I do apologize for that. It seems like I said before, my internet's acting kind of weird, and it's gone down twice today, so I don't know what's going on out there. Probably AT&T is working on something. So Gabriel says double exposure on Premiere, duplicate the layer offset by 1 frame and reduce opacity to less than 50%. You get a primitive motion blur. Okay. That would make sense, yeah. Because you'll have 1 frame sort of lagging behind a little bit. That's pretty smart. And I imagine you could slice up your video so that if you want to have a lot of motion blur, you could offset it by like 3 or 4 frames, like for really fast moves or something. Perhaps. I don't know. So Ron says your broadcast just seemed to skip ahead, but there was no interruption. Really? That's weird. Over here, it said that it was completely gone. There was no connection. All right, well, at least it works. So I was going to say, I can kind of show you guys a little bit about blurs. Let me see. Krita. Let's open this. Hopefully it opens. So many bizarre technical things going on tonight. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's all right. And new. All right. Yep. I should probably move those. I'll move these over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So for blurs, what I was gonna just basically say is, you know, if you have an object that's here, this is position 1, and this is position 2. Let's say it's an arm or a stick or, you know, a fly swatter or a tail or somebody's like, you know, taking something and hitting it on a table, maybe a baseball bat or something. So the object, when it's close, doesn't really require a lot of blur in between there, because at 24 frames per second, anything that's close will appear to be fairly smooth. And so the closer the object is, you know, let's say this is the starting point. I should probably use lines. Let me do that. All right. So there's position 1. Position 2 is here. Position 3 is here. So the spacing of your object, the more that you space it, the faster it moves. No matter what your frame rate is. But of course, you want to make sure you don't space it too much. But if you do space it a lot, like let's say this is the next space. So something is, you know, mechanically super powerful, like some sort of robotic arm that doesn't really require a lot of easing in. So this would be like, you know, in 4 frames, this would look like it was just being hit by a truck or something. So it would look unnatural because you'd had this large gap right here. And if it's too large of a gap and you want to add motion blur, the amount of motion blur that you want to add would be something like, let's change the brush to something bigger. Let's see, no. See, this might work. Nope, that won't work. Where's a good brush? Let's see. All right. You want to add motion blur, you know, all in here. And so there's obviously, like, we're talking about revision effects, motion blur, and we're talking about using programs like Krita or Photoshop CS2 or Photoshop Elements or GIMP or whatever it is, and taking an actual still image and stretching out in between frames from here to here some sort of blur so it looks more natural. But really, you don't have to do it that way. You can use replacements. So for example, like a stick like this, you could use something like clear acetate and put it behind there, and then you could put swish lines like a cartoon effect if your characters are cartoony. So you can do it like in a stylized way like that. You can also take clay, and you can take the clay and make a sheet of clay that goes behind there. And then you can use, different lines, different colors. So if your stick was, a red like baseball bat, you could actually, accent that with dark lines in there to represent where the bat is in space to fill up these gaps. So in essence, you're adding more frames in there. One frame would be equal to 4 frames in this kind of configuration. So 4 bats, 1, 2, 3, 4 baseball bats in one move or one frame. So that kind of gives you the illusion of it moving. And then something in between here, you could use, like I say, something like clear acetate, and then you can paint it with acrylic paints, or you can airbrush it so it's translucent and you can see behind these parts. Some people I've seen, they've used like cotton, which I don't think works too well. But that's like translucent, and you can sort of airbrush that to be any color. So there's just like, different techniques for doing something that would normally be really difficult for some who don't have the proper software tools or the money to buy like revision effects or anything like that. It's just a cheaper way to do things. And it's actually kind of satisfying too when you can do it and it looks good. So let's see. Yes, the Star Wars font. That's thanks to Ron Cole. Ron Cole made that. I guess I covered up the chat there. Didn't mean to. Let's see. So what else? So Ron says sometimes animators who animate on 2s will switch to 24 frames per second for body parts that move fast, which makes a lot of sense. And Janet says, Ron, today I saw Star Wars Empire of Dreams. Great movie. Oh, okay. Didn't know there was a movie like that. Unless you're thinking of Empire Strikes Back, which is possible. Oh, it's a documentary. Oh, okay. That's cool. And Gabriel says, supposedly Stop Animation Pro has a feature that helps you to make motion blur. It's compensate or something like average frame or something like that. Yeah, it's like you can use duplicate frames like what we were just talking about, like snapping off several frames, I believe, to do that, and it's not really motion blur. Not in a true sense. It's more like what I'm saying here, where there's more lines taking up one frame. Same exact concept, and except done in software, and one is done in physical if you wanted to. Let's see. So, and then Gabriel says another good documentary is The People versus George Lucas, maybe? People versus George Lucas? I don't think I've seen that. But people are really hard on George Lucas. It's like a love-hate relationship for a lot of his fans, especially with all his changes to the original films and adding Jabba the Hutt in there, and who shot first? Was it Greedo or not? Who knows? Depends on the film you watch, right? Some people don't like changes, and so all right. Well, anyways, that does conclude our show for tonight, and I do want to thank you guys all for stopping in, and also for helping out by especially Randy, who was helping me before with the website, which I appreciate, and I'm gonna try to get those issues resolved. Let's see if I can close all this stuff now. I can't. All right, there we go. And I do appreciate everybody who entered the monthly challenges, and it's nice to of course, to see Claymara again entering in the latest challenge, which is nice to see. And everybody did a really good job, so thanks. And I guess I'll see you guys all next week. See you later.